What's up, everyone? You are listening to Wake Up Naked. I am your host, Esme Leon. We're going in deep into ourselves. We're going to be talking about ideas and concepts and things that have the potential to actually change our lives. So get excited, get ready, and what are you waiting for? Come over here and get naked with me. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Wake Up Naked. My name is Esme Leon, and today we're talking about how to build self-esteem. One tiny little thing you could do, tiny guys, that could potentially change your life as you gain higher self-esteem. Now, here's the deal, guys. Ready? Stop talking shit about yourself. I know it sounds so simple, but the number one rule for me to build higher self-esteem is to not talk shit about yourself. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, I was out filming some workouts with my videographer. Shout out, Brian. And there was a wonderful girl who was walking by, and she was going to go out and film some yoga stuff by the beach. And as she was walking by, she's like, "Hey, we have the same idea." But she's like, "You look so much better than me. You're in such better shape than me." Now, to the naked eye, that could seem like not that big of a deal. But I promise you, even though I don't know this girl and I'll probably never see her again, if she talked about herself that way to me, a complete stranger, she is 100% talking to herself that way and 100% talking to other people that way about her. And oftentimes, we're just not aware of how powerful our words are. Our words are affirmations into the universe. Our words are like spells. We can do spells with our words, team. So what you think matters and what you say matters. And I know that if you've been battling with low self-esteem and there's thoughts in our heads that have lived forever and ever. Maybe some of you heard, you won't amount to anything when you were little. Maybe some of you got called fat over and over when you're little. And so things like that stuck with you and then have, made you in a way have low self-esteem, whatever it may be. Everyone has a unique upbringing and unique story. But now that we're adults, now that we are wiser, now that we've lived more, now that we know what joy and pain feels like, it is our responsibility to rise up to higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of awareness, acknowledging that you're not that little girl anymore. You're not that little boy anymore. Acknowledging that other people cannot and should not determine how you feel about yourself. As a general rule of thumb, we cannot let other people's actions or inactions determine how we feel. Whether she stays or goes, whether he stays or goes in your life, that cannot determine how you feel about yourself. It is a recipe for suffering. Is it a recipe for disaster? So, team, just be aware of how you speak about yourself to other people, right? Make sure that I'll give you another great example. When someone gives you a compliment, that you can just receive that. And I hear this often, actually I've heard it with men and women, but for some reason I feel like I've heard more women do this, where someone gives you a compliment like, "Wow, you look great." And instead of accepting that, they'll say something like, "Oh, I look terrible. I still need to lose 5 pounds," something like that. And those are affirmations. Those are words. I look terrible. I don't look as good as you. Things like that. You want to just bite your tongue. So this episode is about a challenge. I want to challenge you. I want you to first pay attention. How do you talk about yourself to other people? And it's a whole nother episode about how we talk to ourselves inside our head. We have to stop bullying ourselves in our heads. Oftentimes we say, oh, other people are such bullies. I don't believe in bullying, but you're the number one bully and you're the number one bully to yourself. No one else can hear it, but the only thing that matters is that you can hear it. But again, that's a whole nother episode. One team is pay attention, and that's the challenge. And the second part to this challenge is stop, bite your tongue. Anytime you want to say anything bad about yourself, bite your tongue. Okay. And it's going to be really hard for some of you because you've lived a lifetime of just talking shit about yourself in the most subtle ways. You know, someone could give you, say like, wow, you really got it together. Like you're awesome. And you could downplay yourself and you could say something like, oh no, I didn't do anything. It's really this person who owes the credit, even though you were a part of it and you might have been a big part of it, but you're downplaying yourself, talking shit about yourself can be in all kinds of way. So I know that it doesn't always have to be so dramatic where you're out and someone says something and you're like, oh, I'm a no good for nothing. I don't often hear people say it like that, but it's in the subtleties. Oh, I'm not that pretty, or I'm not pretty enough, or it's subtle things. No, I don't think I couldn't do that. Someone says, "Oh, you should," they see something in you. They see your potential. They see beyond your physical, and they're like, "Oh, you'd be great at that." And you're like, "Oh, no, I would really I don't I'm not made for that. I don't have what it takes." Whatever it may be. You know better than me. Okay? So, start to pay attention. And two, bite your tongue anytime you want to say anything bad about yourself. And if we go a step further, this is if you want extra bonus challenge is to pay attention to how you talk about your story. Okay? Because I've bumped into people and I've been this person in my past where I told the story of my life. Someone asked something, and within the story, I made myself the victim. Okay. And how you speak about yourself matters. This is the whole point of this episode, team. Sometimes we don't think it matters. Well, I'm here to remind us all it matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. What you say about yourself to other people, it matters as far as like negative shit talking about yourself. So just stop and pay attention also to that story that you're saying about your life. And I was victim, no pun intended, but I fell in this trap, better said, in my 20s, where I told the story of my upbringing, even though I had a wonderful upbringing. And that doesn't mean that things were perfect. Okay. My dad suffered with alcoholism. My mom suffered in her own way. I fended for myself in a lot of ways. And despite all that, I look back at my childhood and I really believe I had a wonderful childhood. I had great friends. I had 7 brothers and siblings. I have parents that even if they fucked up, they loved me very, very much. Even if they didn't know exactly how to show it, they loved and love me very, very much. So there was a time where, as I mentioned, I fell into the trap of feeling sorry for myself and talking about my upbringing in a way that was terrible, and I don't want to take away from things that have happened to us, but I want us to heal and grow so that they don't have that same emotional trigger that hold us back, that don't let us connect to people, that don't let us get close to people. Pay attention to how you're talking about your story. It matters. It really does matter. And this is only if you want to improve your life. This is only if you've been feeling like shit and you don't want to feel like shit. This is only if you want to start to have higher self-esteem. And higher self-esteem starts with simply learning and practicing the habit of not talking shit about yourself. Okay? That's my challenge to you. So pay attention. I'm rooting for you. Hit me up with any questions, concerns, team. Hit me up. You can find me on Instagram. My handle's here. Or you're watching me on Instagram now. But if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts right now, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, and feel free to email me, wakeupnakedpodcast@gmail.com. Okay? Until next time, I'm rooting for you. Be fearless, be well. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got as much out of that as I did. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to go back and hit subscribe and keep coming back. Team, we are going to the top and I will see you there. I'm out.